Welcome, Aquarius Ascendant, Aquarius Rising. This is your April 2020 new moon video. We're going to be discussing what happens when the sun and the moon get together and pair up in the sign of Taurus. This happens on the 22nd of April, Central Standard Time. It's at 9:26 p.m. And in the sign of Taurus, we also have the planet Uranus. Uranus is all about things being different. I want new. I don't want the same damn thing for dinner. I want something different. This is the planet Uranus. Uranus, the sun, the moon, they're all going to be pretty close to each other. At this time, we also have some other things happening. We are going to have the planet Mars and the planet Venus sending beautiful, sweet, communicative trines to each other. Thinking and communication are going to be working really well. And I almost feel, well, actually, I do feel very strongly that for us to move forward as a group to experience the advancements for humanity that we need right now with this COVID-19 lockdown crap of 2020. A lot of it is going to have to do with the ability for Mars and Venus to really have lots of communication and thinking going on and utilizing science. Okay, Mars is going to be at 1610 in Aquarius energy, and Venus will be at 15 degrees in Gemini energy in air. So we're going to find out where all of these things happen for you, Aquarius Ascendant, Aquarius Rising, in your chart. Obviously, the Aquarius stuff happens in your first house. However, you need to find out what the degree of your ascendant is to understand more specifically if this literally is in your first house, as in near your cusp line, or if it's just somewhere in your first house, or because it's you know, there could be stuff that happens in the really early degrees of Aquarian energy. And some charts, the very early degrees of their Aquarian energy is in their 12th house. So if you don't know any of this kind of stuff, if you need help getting a chart, just comment your stuff below. I can help you to do that. I can pull up a chart for you. I can give you the information, and we can then really share in a way where you'll be able to have a visual and understand. All right. So let's dive deep into your all astrology. Aquarius Ascendant, Aquarius Rising. The new moon happens at 3 degrees and 24 minutes on the 22nd of April. That's where I was going with the 20s. So 3 degrees, 24 minutes. We're going to have the sun and the moon together. Okay. Now the new moon is a time where we set intentions because of the fact that the moon is our emotions. It is what we need to feel emotionally secure. Okay. The sun being on top of the moon adds energy to our emotions. Remember, folks, our emotions they are the gasoline, they are the energy, they are the power, the fuel, literally the fuel that amps our desires, that amps our intentions, that amps up these wishes that we make at the new moon time. 3 degrees, 24 minutes. The planet Uranus is in Taurus as well, at 6 degrees, 24 minutes. Okay, so let's find out where all this is in your life, okay? And how do we know that? By finding out where the Taurus energy is in your chart. So for Aquarius, this is in your 4th house, which means this is in your home, okay? Now, if you're an Aquarian sun sign or an Aquarian moon sign, and you're listening to this video, that's fine. But understand that if you're an Aquarius sun and you're listening to this as a rising sign video, you really want to find out. Well, basically, you're gonna listen to it in terms of your sun sign, and your sun sign is your vitality, your strength. It is your light. It is where you shine the brightest in your life. Okay, and so when we talk about Taurus energy and when we talk about Uranus energy, this is all about my unique values. All right, I like something doesn't mean you like the same thing. Okay, that squares Aquarian energy. Okay, so when we break down the new moon energy, knowing what your sun sign degree is would be a big help. Again, if you don't know what that is, all you gotta do is comment and I can find out. Because if you have an early degree sun sign, that would mean that the sun and the moon, that this new moon could square your sun. And you would want to know that in advance, because then when something squares our sun, and our sun represents our vitality, right? The health of our body, like our energy, literally, we may find we're really dragging, we need more sleep, we don't feel so hot, right? Because the sun and the moon will be squaring. Now, if Uranus is squaring, you're really going to want to know, because Uranus shakes things up. All right, Uranus in Taurus is about, Taurus energy represents our stamina, our drive, our desires. You don't know? Comment your stuff below. If you have Taurus in your 4th house, this is, you want your home to be beautiful. You want your home to be peaceful, okay? Aesthetically appealing, okay? It should smell good. It should look good. Now, depending upon other details in your chart, you may look around and be like, well, yeah, I think my home is beautiful, but other people don't. You know, there might be some other factors in there. There could be other things in that 4th house placement that make this very specific for you. You know, where it makes your home really unique for you. Basically, think about Venus, because Venus rules Taurus. So that would tell you then how your 4th house energy feels. Look for your natal Venus in your chart. Find out which sign that she's in. And then that tells you how your 4th house energy expresses, because Venus rules that house, because you've got Taurus there. So the new moon is about new beginnings. It's new energy. That's what it is. And these new energies, these new desires are going to be based on what you value, because it's in Taurus. Now, the new moon, this is the 22nd of April, and this is Central Standard Time at 9:26 p.m. So depending upon where you live, you're going to need to adjust for your time zone, all right? The moon itself, just 6 hours later, is going to move, because Uranus is sitting at 6:34 at that time, on that day, and the moon will catch up. Now let's talk about what happens when your moon and your sun are together by themselves. This is actually a nice feeling. You feel comforted by what you have in your home, by your tangible assets, by your values, by your surroundings. You feel like, okay, this is my place of peace. This is home. I feel very grounded. I feel very stable here. I feel very secure here, because your sun and your moon are going to be sitting there. And Taurus is very grounded. It's very calming, okay? It feels very stable. It's like, you know, you can rock its boat, but it just doesn't fall out. It somehow is able to stay peaceful, and it knows, it's confident. It knows that no matter what happens, everything's going to be okay. So your home kind of feels like that, okay, when you have the sun and the moon together. So at that time, it feels wonderful. It feels good. Now, could this be different? Could you be hearing me saying this, and you're looking at your chart, and you're looking at your life, and you're like, what's going on? Where's the stability you were talking about? Again, if there is something in your natal chart that sends a square to the sun and the moon at the time, then it would be different, which is why I encourage people to comment your stuff below, comment your birth digits below. You don't know, comment below. But typically, this energy is stabilizing. We feel good because it's the sun and the moon together, and it's in the peaceful Taurus energy, okay? Now, the moon's going to move 6 hours later, okay? It moves 1 degree, okay? It takes 2 hours to move that, to catch up to Uranus energy, and so that equates to 6 hours. Now, this changes things a bit. Here, we might feel a little razzled, because Uranus is very electrical. It's our nervous system, right? It's our nerves in our body. And the moon being there means your emotions kind of get electrified. They get kind of lit up, so to speak. Now, this doesn't have to be horrible. It could feel like a bit of anxiousness, okay? If you have some anxious energy, if you're feeling, you might even feel a little bit more irritable, to the degree where I feel antsy and I have to do something with this energy. So you want to have a plan. You want to do something with that kind of energy, okay? Taurus, that energy is very creative because it's ruled by Venus. So it is art. It's fine art. All right, if you're not a real creative person, then maybe just viewing fine art, right? There's a lot of free resources online right now because we're all in the lockdown. And so we get to go to museums online, have these virtual tours and look at beautiful objects, sculptures, right? Paintings. If you are more handy, then you would want to put that paintbrush in your hand, or that drawing tool, or a piece of chalk, whatever it is, or maybe you're musical, right? musical. Taurus loves the way things sound, or maybe you sing, right? People who sing, maybe you play the flute. You play an instrument that requires the voice. It requires the air that comes out of your body. Do something that will make you feel good. But understanding that having the moon on top of Uranus energy, Uranus is all about, I got to do something different. I need to seek out something different. So plan to do something different on the new moon. Now, this new moon energy happens literally, like I said, in the evening. So this may make a night of not so great sleep. Let's be real. Okay, it could be a night where you're anxious, so you might need to take something to help you sleep. You might need to have some rescue remedy. You might need to use some Calms Forte. You might need to have some cannabis. You might need to do something a little bit extra to help you have a peaceful night's sleep. So if you plan this in advance, this will help because you know it, you expect it, and you're like, okay, I know things might be a little razzled right now. And let's face it, we're all a little razzled. The world is a little different right now. There's a lot of uncertainty. And the moon touching onto Uranus energy is this kind of like, I want, there is a desire because Venus is so pronounced right now. She's out of bounds. Venus went out of bounds on April 3rd, and she stays out of bounds all the way until June 2nd. And so when Venus is out of bounds, she is more extreme, meaning your desires could be at a higher level, okay? What you feel is beautiful and is desirable and is of a value will be on 10 during these times. And so there's to all energy, there is, when something is extreme, we have to be aware of the extreme moments. So when we have those moments, we can try to like rein ourselves in. We can try to be like, okay, chill a little bit on that. What you feel is important, but not everybody may feel that it's important, and that's okay. It's kind of that time where we're definitely seeing it on social media where everybody has very strong differences of opinion. It's almost like the division, even though we all have this common thing, there's this awareness of, I never realized how many people don't think like me. But the whole trick about going through crises like this is to not focus on that which divides you. You really have to focus on that which unites you. We have to realize what our commonalities are. Like you get cut, you bleed. What color is the blood? Right. We all bleed the same color, right? So there's these simple basic things that we really have to focus on to try to establish a place of peace within our homes, within our mind, within our heart. And the moon touching Uranus kind of frazzles things up a little bit. Now you would want to know at the Uranian energy, the 634 of Taurus, do you have anything already there? Because if you already have Uranus sitting on top of something at that point, it's going to be stronger, it's going to be more intense. If you have something squaring 624 of Taurus, so that would be if you have anything in Aquarius at 624 or anything in Leo at 624, then that would then emphasize stress, testing, and tension. Okay, again, I can only help you if you comment your birth digits below. Now, after the full moon moves off of the Uranus energy, which it will, it's fast, okay? You also need to be aware of it's almost like an infatuation energy. Because it's in Taurus, so it's my desires. It's in a desire for something different, something new. So you want to be aware of that because something that you valued, something you thought was important, it could be just 2 hours, 3, 4 hours later. All of a sudden you're like, what was I thinking? I could give a crap. I don't want that. I was giving an example of, in the morning, you're like, yeah, let's have this for dinner tonight. And then all of a sudden evening comes around, you're like, no, what was I thinking? I don't want that. Yuck. I'd rather have this. That's a very mild example of what that could look like. Now, what happens a couple days later? A couple days later, the sun will actually sit on top of Uranus because the sun is only at 324 on the new moon. But 3 days later, on the 4 days later, on the 26th, let me change charts here, we then have the sun conjunct Uranus exactly. Now, what happens? The sun is energy. It energizes Uranus. And what is Uranus? Uranus is the rebel. Uranus says, I want something different. Uranus says, I'm going to do something different just so I can be different, just so I can experience different. Now, Pisces or Aquarian ascendants, again, this is still all in your home. So all it has to be is you might be doing a different creative endeavor on that day because it's in Taurus energy. You may want something different to eat because Taurus is also food. It's things that it desires, things that it likes, things that it finds appealing, whether it's by senses, by taste, by touch, by smell, by visuals, all right? This is why a lot of beauticians have a Taurus aspect in their chart. I said beauticians, it's such an old term, but the stylists, because they like to make things beautiful. So maybe you redo your home during this period. Maybe you're like, you know what, I want to move some things around on the wall. I don't want these paintings here. I don't want these pictures here. I'm going to move some furniture around. This could be a way of utilizing the Uranus energy to make something beautiful, all right? Now, we have a beautiful trine that's occurring, okay? And it's Mars and Venus. Mars and Venus are going to be sending sweet information and a camaraderie. We can work together. This is your masculine and your feminine energy. Your Uranus energy, which is where Mars is at 16 degrees, okay? 1610 to be exact, in your Aquarius energy. So that's in your first house. So this is all about me, myself. And it's going to be receiving information from Venus, who is in Gemini at 15 degrees. Now, your Gemini energy is in your fifth house. So this could be, if you're a parent, you could be getting some, having some great experiences with your children. Fifth house is your kids, your children. It's your creative projects. Fifth house is also the house of romance, right? So you may be hooking up with somebody, whether you're doing it, virtually, right? Or whether you're doing it, somehow you might be Skyping or on the phone, or maybe just doing, what is that? Zoom crap right now is all really big. There might just be a way that you can connect with somebody that you haven't been able to. And even if it's not a romantic person, or a romantic sort of a relationship, it can be just somebody who you are having a good time with in talking and communicating and expressing. Because that is the fifth house, how I express. Fifth house, let's not forget, is also how we take some risks in life, because it's the house where we want to have fun, where we experience our fun. And sometimes doing things that aren't necessarily by the rules tend to be fun. So you want to keep that in mind because of the sun invigorating the Uranus energy. The sun adding strength to Uranus at this time. And you remember, Uranus, if you have something squaring your Uranus energy and the sun is adding energy to it, this could be some of the things in your home suddenly, going bonkers, like your internet all of a sudden doesn't work, or your devices, you press on them and they're not doing what they're supposed to do, because Uranus rules our technical advancements for humanity. So that's your digital devices, all right? Keep that in mind. And if you don't know if something's squaring, you don't know, comment below, right? So for Aquarius energy, you're going to have a nice ease of energy, a nice beneficial energy that comes from the fifth house, all right? Your fifth house to your first house. So this is yourself and children or creative projects and your ability to express, all right? And this is a placement where in that fifth house, if things are going well and Venus is there, because Venus is all about my desire, but she wants things to be beautiful and pleasant. And this is going to be you emphasizing having pleasant and beautiful communications. This is a good time to write, because with Venus in the house of in Gemini's in your fifth house, this is the placement of the writer, right? Now, Venus is going to be there for a very long time. I would suggest for people who are Aquarius Ascendant, Aquarius Rising, that you are journaling during this experience. You're going to have some great writings that come out of this. Venus stays in that fifth house roughly all the way until August. Like August 6th is when Venus, I think August 7th, she literally goes into Gemini, or I'm sorry, to Cancer. So we have for all of us, wherever Venus and Gemini is in our chart, you're going to have a long time where Venus is re-emphasizing what you value, okay, how you communicate. So if it's in your fifth house, it's how you communicate, how you express in ways that give you joy, bottom line. There is one other thing I wanted to mention before I end this video, and this is the big grand square we have with the world axis point. Now, we always have this happening, but on the new moon, we have the north node and the south node sitting on the world axis in the cardinal signs of Cancer and Capricorn, okay? The North Node is where we're headed. The South Node is what we're letting go. Find out where Capricorn energy is in your chart. If you don't know, right, 0 degrees Capricorn is where the South Node is at, and this is what you're letting go of. This is what you're releasing. Now remember, folks, don't be afraid of this release. This is a natural release. Okay, this is a, I've been there, done that, I don't need it anymore. I'm letting it go. I may be giving it to somebody else who needs it. Okay, so for Aquarius, Ascendant Aquarius risings, your Capricorn release is in your 12th house. Now this is going to be subconscious thinking that you're releasing, that you're letting go, because it's your 12th house stuff. All right, so it also can be stuff in your dreams. All right, the 12th house is our past lives or things from childhood, but it's stuff that you buried deep, and they're letting go. This is a good thing. It will happen naturally because it's a South Node thing, and this nodal point is an eclipse point. We have an eclipse coming up at 0 degrees Cancer on the 21st of June. That's the second eclipse of June. There's also an eclipse at, we'll go deeper into the eclipses when we get closer to that time, but basically it's the same thing. It's a release. It's a major release. It's growth potential. It has to do with the emotions because it's in Cancer. But at the opposing side of an eclipse, at this eclipse, is 0 degrees Capricorn. So the Capricorn stuff is where we are just saying, it's done. It's over. I won't have to be dealing with that anymore. I've outgrown it. And this has to do, like I said, with your deep psychological world, stuff you may not be aware of. Now, where are you going? Where are you headed? This is the North Node. This is where the 0 degrees Cancer is. Now, 0 degrees Cancer is in your 6th house. This is health. This could be good, right? Because this is your future. This is where you're headed. This is also the house of work. This is the house of our habits, our healthy habits, right? Like, what's our new healthy habit? Everybody's washing hands in ways they've never done before, a million more times more than they ever did before. That's a new healthy habit that we're taking forward. And this is in your 6th house. So understanding that you have Cancer in your 6th house and how your emotions are going to affect your health and how you can move forward with that knowledge and have better health, okay? Realizing that, that this is part of your future because it's where you're going, okay? It's where you're headed. It's about having emotional security and how when your emotions are secure and at peace, so is your physical well-being and your physical health. All right, Aquarius, Ascendant Aquarius rising. Hope this has put some light upon your path. If you have any questions, comment below. Bye.